Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, where we are as untethered as ever.
Oh my God.
And as ever untethered as ever we can be.
Or shall.
Or something like that.
Of course. Good morning, not Brad.
Good morning, not Josh Holloway.
Yes, Mr. Pitt. Good morning, not Mr. Pitt.
Okay. I'm Josh, that's Brad, and together we are untethered from reality and evidently sanity. Come join us and untether yourself as well.
Please join us.
So, we have some GNUs, some GNU releases, and some upcoming releases as well.
That's good.
That's good?
Good. Yes. So why don't you
do that easily because I'm a stutterer. So.
Okay. No need to brag. Really, no need to brag.
Okay. So, first off, as always, let's start with the highlights. Do you have any highlights this week?
Well, as always, GNU. I do not. Well, once again, my highlights this week were just trying to figure out what is going on with the Quest 2 Pro, Quest 3 debate while they're unlocking all this great stuff on the Quest 2. So just trying to figure out why they're even mentioning all of the upcoming quests as they release all of this new great stuff.
Keeping it teased and hyped for the future? I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't seem to make sense. But I do see that the price on the Quest headset's gone down.
Oh, good.
So
always good.
Yeah.
Now it's cheaper than ever to get untethered.
Oh, and they're pushing the old Oculus, the old headset too, the Quest 1, and that's getting pushed out really inexpensively, which is all really good news. It's going to bring a lot of people into the ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a perfectly viable headset, and if you use Virtual Desktop Link or the new option, which shall be discussed later, Airlink, you have plenty of options to hook it up to a PC, whether tethered or untethered. And then it doesn't matter if everything that's native on it is only Quest 2 at some point, because you've got access to all the PC VR stuff.
Exactly. So it's right now is a very good time to be in the Oculus ecosystem for playing all sorts of games. So right now they're the clear winner, even though HTC Vive's unreleased headset has won the design award of the year.
Well, they're unreleased headsets.
Right.
That's just a design.
Exactly. So their prototype, which doesn't really exist, has already won an award for something that should exist.
Yeah, has won a design award. Yes.
Exactly. So, cheers and good luck to you. Yes. It looks like exactly like the Quest 2, but with a yellow stripe.
I consider that more of a fluorescent, sportswear attire green. That's what it looked like on my monitor. That real yellow green fluorescent neon.
Well,
color.
The only way to solve that is to get a 4K TV, attach your new Apple 4K TV, take your new iPhone 11 or 12, whichever one has your UI chip, hold it up to your screen to do the color balancing, and then you'll know what the actual color is.
Or get the source files from HTC and look at the actual color values.
Okay, smarty. But yeah, I couldn't really tell whether they were going for the orange or the racing yellow, or I don't know what it was, but it was pretty bright.
Yeah, and I mean it does give it a little bit more visual appeal to the headset than the set-top Quest, and the use of the breathable materials and all that. And, it seems like a good design, which is why it won the design award.
Right, now let's see them actually produce it, have it function,
and sell.
Exactly. Then we can actually make it. Right now, my award goes to the non-existent Apple headset, and
well, we don't even know the design on that.
well, we've seen the drawing.
We know a little bit. Yeah, you're right. Anyways, my highlight is I got missed on the flash sale, and I had a $10 credit from Oculus as well, thanks to my Elite strap breaking again and a little confusion in the email. So I'm going to be having a new replacement Elite strap coming, even though I already got a Halo style head strap for it, plus that it's $10 credit. So all that told me that I got missed for like 11 something after tax.
You had to go through a lot, though. I mean, that wasn't like you just got it for $11. You had to go through all of this heartache first. So and still paid. It wasn't like they gave it to you. But wait, your Elite strap broke again?
Yes. Yeah, this was the second Elite strap. Yeah.
And how's the Halo strap working out for you?
Still kind of getting used to it because it doesn't. It fits more like that way, and it
I'm not saying
it doesn't feel as secure as the Elite strap does, because that goes around that way, and but it seems secure enough, and it gives me the ability to do this, so that if in Myth I ever reach the point where I need to take notes in a journal,
yeah, that was really great of the designers to make it so simple for you to keep track of the notes, as opposed to when you read it, just putting it on a piece of paper in your journal that you could remove and say, "Oh, that was what it."
I mean, part of the appeal of the original game was that there wasn't a hey, I can just pull up the clue anytime I want to in the original game either. It was a tough game on the puzzles. That's part of what drew people to it was, hey, I beat it. It was a hard game and I beat it. But yes, it's much easier to keep a physical journal when you're doing a pancake game, obviously.
Right.
But they could have, because other games back then would record stuff that you found or came across as well. They opted not to do that back then, even though they could have as well. So it's a little bit more necessary in VR. I do agree, because unless you have a Halo headset, you can't just easily go and write it down and then to put it back in. And even if you can, that does break immersion a little bit. It takes you out of the world back into the real world, so you can write down a note, and then you go back into the virtual world, which is not quite optimal.
Right.
So that said, so far, I have not found that I need a journal yet. I'm only about an hour in. I got to the Selenitic age, and then I saved the game, and I am going to go back in later and do some more exploring. But I did all that without needing a journal to write anything down. But I know not everyone's going to be able to do that. I happen to have a really good memory. As part of my high school graduation, I had to memorize 125 Bible verses and recite them error-free. I went to a private high school, so.
Right. Yes, I've had to perform some feats of memory myself.
Yeah, I have a very good memory. So.
But that, once again, that's great for people that have excellent memories and for
Right.
people that are playing one game at a time.
Well, yeah. Well, if you are playing more than one puzzle game at a time, yeah, you are probably going to get some cross chatter, and you'll be in midst going, okay, I need to rotate this so that it casts a shadow. Like, oh, wait a second, that's shadow point.
Exactly. Exactly. But not just that. There might be something that was written down that you remembered that you forgot.
Right.
And like I'm saying, it's not so much that it would be so difficult and even that you have to write down what's important. The thing is that once you have uncovered something that will be important later, to be able to reference back to it, you know, like you're saying, they have had that element in many games over the
Right.
years where
Yeah.
the journal just records.
So to be honest, part of how I solved the ship puzzle to unlock the portal to the Selenita cage is I brought a book with me from the library that had the piano note sequence in the
Right.
book. I brought it with me. You know, when I don't need to rely on memory, why rely on memory? I would try to bring it with me, and you know.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why it should be the standard
Right. But
something that, you know, like, oh,
right.
these are the way the notes were, or how were the notes, and let you transport back and forth. Because it's not the same thing. You know, when you were playing it originally as a pancake game,
Right. I know.
having a book next to you is no problem. You're still using your
Right.
mouse, you're still using a keyboard. There is
Right.
no really breaking of the immersion.
Right. Right. And that's the only major difference, because I mean, even with a non Halo style, you can still go, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna shove it up here, write down real quick, pull it back down, you know.
Right, exactly.
But that does break immersion, and in a game like Myth, that's half the fun in doing it in VR is the immersion.
Oh, I would say that's all the fun in VR. I mean, in this, it's the location. You know, once you remove yourself from that world,
Right.
you know. So
But
anyway, I think
also
we
don't
agree.
have the Myth environment as my current home environment.
Which I understand.
Sorry, we got things trying to just fall down over here. Okay, there we go.
Okay. No, I
Speaking
mean,
of your life getting in the way.
but it's graphically beautiful. It always has been. That's not the problem. The problem
Right.
that we're talking about is the actual implementation of the game and introducing friction where there didn't really need to be any.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's a fairly simple fix to just
Add the elements.
have a way to see what you've already discovered that are clues. The problem is they need to do that in a way that doesn't break the difficulty level that they want. Because if your in-game journal only records actual clues and it doesn't include any red herrings, then it's like the room VR, where you can only interact with what you need, which makes it a little bit easier to figure out what you need to do, because you can only do stuff that you need to do. Myst, there's a lot of, or a few things that seem like they might be clues to this, when they're really not clues, or they're not clues for that, but they're clues for that instead. Well,
yeah, but you had that misdirection in Star Wars as well.
right.
I mean, even so, you know, some games just incorporate misdirection. That's fine.
Right.
And Myst
Right.
does, you know.
But they would need to do the journal system in a way that doesn't break that potential for misdirection.
Right. Question mark.
You know what I mean?
Is this important? You know, could that
Right.
have been important? Question mark.
Right.
You know, and
Right. Or
direct them
something
to
like
the
that.
red
Right.
herring.
Yeah. But yeah, because I wouldn't want to go through mist and just walk by something, not even noticing it, and then find in my journal, hey, you went by this. It told you how to open. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, but
Oh,
once
that's
again,
you know what I mean?
once again, we've said that the thing with creating these games is that you really should give the person who's playing it the option of playing it the way that they want
Right.
to. And, and if you really need those clues that badly, are you going to say, no, you're too stupid to buy our game? Or are you going to
Yeah.
provide an avenue for them to play it? You know, it's really that simple.
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, the same way in Room, you can either have the clue or not.
Well,
You
yeah.
know,
Well, you can get up to 3 clues, which are increasingly specific.
and even they didn't always take you all the way to the end.
Right. Right. I
And
mean,
there was
I
perspective
remember
changes.
that one clue where it's talking about look for the circular rail, and I still couldn't find it because I think a rail like a railing, like here, not here.
Well, and that's what I was going to say was perspective was
Right.
also a very big part of that game. So you did have to change perspective. It wasn't like it just presented you with an
Right.
obvious clue. Once
Right.
again, my thing with Myst,
Right.
it doesn't have to be obvious, but it's a way of not making people break that fourth wall
Right.
and jump
Right.
out of the VR. So that, I think we spent enough time on
But
this.
unless you want to do a Trover approach and all of a sudden have a little butterfly in midst pop up and go, screw this puzzle. Here, I'll take you straight to the end.
I mean, I can see stranger things happening, you know, but yes, you could have an angel to come along and give you a hint at the right spot or whatever. It's or a
Anyways,
being.
I think you are right. We have spent enough time on Myth. Now it's time for my other highlight, which happens to be also the new release, which is Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife.
Bum, ba, bum, which we're all waiting to hear your opinion of.
Well, so far I am liking it. It's a slower moving game. I would call it a little bit more like Dead Secret than like Dread Halls.
Okay.
You know, it's
Mm,
got a very slow burn. Although in the first, I'm not sure how long I was playing it, probably about an hour and a half maybe. But in that first bit, you do come across a specter, and he screams at you. He's very annoying. When you encounter him or say get past him, I forget which, you earn an achievement in Oculus that says annoying.
okay, that's nice. um, I think we before the show we were discussing the difference between specters and shadows.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. So in the world of darkness, role-playing games, which is where Wraith comes from. Well, first of all, in the world of darkness role-playing games in general, the world is on a downhill incline, and then it's getting steeper and steeper as time goes on. Pretty soon, it'll just be a cliff that everyone's hurtling down. um, and you are battling with your own inner demons as well as external threats, and in some cases, demons. Um, in the world of Wraith the Oblivion, you are trying to remain yourself as long as possible and not succumb to oblivion
mhm.
and not become a specter. A specter is basically a wraith that's gone insane and is now just a malignant spirit that really forgot who he is, what he did, and it's just prowling the afterlife, attacking and devouring other wraiths. Your shadow is a Jungian archetype. That's your darker impulses, which are fully realized and given their own separate body. And they can whisper to you and influence you and try to lead you down the wrong path, that they might help you in this instance, but in this instance here, it might say, hey, why don't you walk over to that specter and say hi? Rather than stay away from the specter.
Right.
Like in the little gameplay snippet that a lot of the YouTubers did a while back, the shadow can be heard saying, hey, maybe I should call her over here. Want me to do that? The specter.
Right.
So, so you've got that going on, and you're trying to uncover, in this game, you are trying to uncover the mystery of your death, how you died, why you died, and how to get out of the mansion so that you're not trapped in the mansion for all of the afterlife. And the specter wants out of the mansion, or the shadow wants out of the mansion too.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand whether he's helping you or hurting you, and it sounds to me like you're never quite sure.
Right.
Sort of like a Loki figure. Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, because I'm saying like, well, you're telling me he's saying, should I do this? Should I do that? Is it going to result in something really horrible happening, or will it be bestowing something upon you? Like, I don't know. Do you listen to what you've done? Hey, you should eat the cookie. It's not sort of like Beetlejuice.
Right. And one of the earlier powers that you are granted is basically gravity gloves. It works very much like it does in Half-Life Alyx. You look at the object, point your hand at it, it highlights, and then you press the grab button, pull it towards you, and catch it.
Okay.
So, hey, why reinvent what works, right?
That's true. I mean, look, I don't think anybody has a problem with that particular physics.
No, but it's also so far very well designed graphically game. It looks really cool. Everything is sharp. Everything is crisp. Everything is beautiful as a decrepit haunted mansion can be.
Well, it could be on Airbnb, huh?
And it's only so decrepit because you're in the afterlife, and it's got weird things like a tree growing in the middle of the bar area, and things like that would not be there in reality.
Well, none of it would be there in reality. It all has to be there.
And there are hazards throughout as well. There's the broken glass on the floor. If you walk on the broken glass, the specters can hear you and locate you.
So you don't want the specters to know you're there.
They suck the life out of you.
But you're dead.
They suck the afterlife out of you.
It's interesting concept.
Yes. But you can distract them by throwing books, throwing bottles in the opposite direction of where you are. So they go and look over there. So it's a stealth haunted house mystery horror game.
Well, if you throw in a kayak,
I know, right?
It's starting to mix a lot of elements from different games here now. So, originally I thought it was going to be more like Layers of Fear, and now I'm thinking Call of Duty meets
Well, I
Spire.
don't know if you ever. I think you might be able to. Well, yeah. At some point in the game, if you ever remember from the teasers and whatnot, you do get a flash bulb that you can use to dispel some things. So
Okay, so it's like Harry Potter, and you get your
expecto patronum.
Patronum. Yes, you got it. But here it's a flashbulb. In Harry Potter, it's a Patronum. Here, it's
Right.
a flashbulb. Okay.
Yeah. Or like in Cosmo Dread, if you turn on the lights, all the creepy stuff in the room dissolves. So
Got it.
yeah. So
Okay. As long as they incorporate it well and you think the
yeah.
gameplay is good,
Yeah.
then
Yeah. And as I mentioned, so far I am liking it. I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea because they want more of a paranormal activity or layers of fear or dread halls, and they don't necessarily want this kind of longer, slower story.
right. Well, let's face it, there's sometimes you want to play a game for speed and
Yeah.
have it happen fast, and there's other games that you want the exploration and you want the uncovering of the story. So.
Yeah. Now, one thing I don't like, there is a sprint option in the game. However, this is your regular moving speed.
Mm-hmm.
This is your sprinting moving speed. Marginally faster.
Right. That's not really okay. Well, they're
I'm
not
like, that's
saying
not a
run.
sprint. That's like, oh no, I'm still stuck in molasses, but I'm working to go faster.
Okay. I guess.
And it is louder, so it
Oh,
attracts the specters more if you sprint. So
okay. So that's something, but you're not gaining really speed. You're just attracting more specters.
yeah, I mean a slight increase of speed. So yeah,
Well, I guess in Indiana Jones, when he reached for his hat and the spikes were coming down and he was able to get it out before it crushed his hand, that little increase in speed helped.
maybe
Otherwise, it would be Indiana Hook. So
yeah. Indiana Crush Jones.
something along those lines.
So moving on to upcoming titles, we have Zero Caliber Reloaded with a date of May 13th. So
I still don't know.
I've been hearing some good things from some people that have early access and all that. So
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. I don't know yet. I'm really not getting a feel for Zero Caliber from what
yeah,
I've.
I mean, it remains said to be seen how well it does or doesn't do when it comes. I'm sure it'll do well.
Right.
Most games that release on the Quest do.
But will it be fun? That's the
Right.
point. Is that we
Right.
all have different types of games we
Yeah.
enjoy. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I might quite possibly check that one out when it is released. I don't know. But moving on to a game that is, I believe, coming out next week, we have Star Wars Pinball.
That I'm looking forward to a lot. I know they're giving us no information, but I would say that it looks like next week. And even though I've stayed away from every iteration of pinball gaming in VR because it just seems so ridiculous, this has a whole different take. It
Right.
really, not only are you in the arcade with the characters from Star Wars, you're in the game, if you wish, to shrink
Right.
down to a level and be in the pinball game as well.
Right.
And objects
I mean,
from.
it looked really cool and well done,
Exactly.
from what I've seen. Yeah.
And if you like pinball, but it seems like so much more than just pinball. I don't know if it'll just turn out to be flipping switches or if you'll do more or if it's just
I
a
don't know.
payback. But it's sort of like Tetris Effect in the sense that, if you can make something that was good even better, why not?
Yeah. My wife has been really enjoying the Tetris Effect on her, as I already hinted at earlier, her new Quest 2. She decided to get one for her birthday.
I saw her achievements being going
Yeah,
up. That's why I mentioned Tetris Effect.
yeah.
I have Tetris Effect. I've only skimmed. I really haven't played, but it looks like it could really suck you in. It really does.
Yeah, there was one level that she doesn't really like because it distracts her too much.
Right.
But there's one level with like passion or tribal passion or something like that, and it's full of these creatures going ooh ooh and chanting or whatever, and for whatever reason that one really distracts her.
Well, that is why they designed it the way they did, because as opposed that's why it's called the Tetris Effect. It's because it's a whole thing going on around the game. The game itself is just the center.
Well, it's also called the, the Tetris effect because it's referring to the Tetris effect,
Yes.
which is where after you play Tetris, you continue to play it behind your eyelids, even though you have no game in front of you.
That is true, and at this point in my life, everyone in my family, at least, when it's time to pack the car or pack a suitcase or whatever, it's okay. Tetris in real life. Let's go. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, we have, and just mention this briefly here. We can mention it more later during the talk of the gaming showcase stuff, but we have a new game that we didn't know about before coming out in summer of this year. Carve Snowboarding.
which was a game on the Wii? Is that the way I read it, or the N64?
N64, I think.
Right.
Um, and I'm not entirely sure because I wasn't really into snowboarding and whatnot games back then. But uh, all the uh, excuse me, all the marketing material now for Carve Snowboarding in VR is saying that is from the makers of 1080 snowboarding or something like that. So this may be a rebrand of a game that was it's titled differently, or I don't know. Or it could be that it was called this back then. I really don't know. It wasn't on my radar back then. So
I'm just thinking of 1080. Is that like a triple turnaround?
I don't
It's
know.
360 times 3 is 1080.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was
That's my guess. Yeah, it'd be a
right. That would be cool. I mean, it's done correctly. A snowboarding game in VR,
right.
aside from making me violently ill, could be a lot of fun.
Yes, I remember the beta testing one that someone was working on for the Gear VR, and no, I mean it's perfect for head 3 off because you're leaning left and
Right.
right, and it's perfect just for that. Um, it never went anywhere as far as I know, but it the little bit of a demo that I had of it was fun. That's a different game than this one. I'm not saying no.
I'm thinking more of six stop and actually being able to take off and do your flip in midair, like a Sirento type flip, and that would
Right.
be
Yeah.
really vomit inducing, but really cool. So,
Well, I don't know exactly what the control mechanisms for doing the tricks are, but I think from what I've seen is probably similar to the skateboarding VR one, which is where you use your hands to control the rotation and flipping or whatever. So I could be wrong. I don't know.
okay, we'll see what they do, but
Yeah,
it should be very immersive. I mean,
yeah,
that is, and it's not going to take up a lot of graphics considering how much white there's going to be on the screen. So,
right, right, right.
yeah, it looks like it could be very good. I'm wondering why they put such heavy duty announcement. It really did come out of nowhere. It was like we didn't
I
hear
know
anything.
it came out of nowhere, and then yesterday I think I saw a tweet from the studio where they were opening champagne and whatnot, and
Yeah, let's hope it gets to the point that that champagne was worth it. It wasn't
yeah,
Prosecco.
one of them was really awkward about opening the champagne. It took him like almost the entire short video to get the bottle open.
Obviously, not a professional champagne consumer. So,
No. So moving on to all the news that could fit to get print or something like that.
okay, but don't print anything. Okay.
No. So we had the Vive Air teased.
Which I believe I did earlier. So, yes, the Vive Air is teased. Let's see what happens. It's going to
Yeah.
be the Quest 2 with the yellow stripe and have all the stuff that the Quest
Well,
has.
no. I mean, so this was, yeah, this is a concept at present, but they did announce that they have a new headset on the way. So is this their concept for that new headset, or is this I mean, totally unrelated? This is what they submitted for the design awards, and their new headset is going to stick with their usual blue-black look. Who knows?
I have no clue. I really don't. We're talking about Vive here, so
Right. Yeah. I mean,
guess.
yeah, and they did tease that they do have a new headset on the way, but the only info that we have on the Vive Air is that it's a screenshot and the description of the materials used, which sounds really cool. It looks it's very distinctive. It looks like a fitness-oriented thing, but it's a concept.
Exactly. So right now the rebuff reality fan that goes around your neck seems like it'll take care of a lot of problems also. I think it was $19 on their website.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird that they're, well, not weird, I guess, but it's kind of weird in a little way that they are coming out with their own thing for that, because fans you can wear around your neck that blow up into your face already exist.
True, but it's an upsell. What are you gonna?
Yeah.
It's the same way that they came out with their headset, their Elite, their version of the Elite strap, with that now holds their rebuff reality battery without having to slice into it like you would have had to on the other one. So they're designing their own gear for people that like rebuff reality.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And nothing wrong with that. It's just, I've seen some people go, wait, neck-worn fans are a thing? I'm like, they've been a thing for like 10 years or so at least?
Even longer.
Where have you been?
I live in Florida. I've been to Disney World. Neck-worn fan things have been around for like 25 years. So, yeah, it's fine. But it's, it's just another thing, and it really, in some instances, depending where you're playing, the heat level, how active you are, blowing cool air on your neck could help.
Yeah. What I personally would not like, honestly, is if the fan blew air up this way, because that would dry my eyes out.
Well, then you would
all that air coming around there, and that would dry my eyes out. Or potentially, that'd be a concern that I would have, is that it would dry out my eyes.
Right. I would think the seal around your eyes from the actual headset would prevent.
Well, no, because you have the nose gap.
Oh, yeah, okay, the nose gap. Gotcha.
And with my new head strap, it doesn't fit as snugly this way.
Because right. That's my problem. That's my problem with the Halo head straps, is they don't sit flush.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I would like it if it did. I mean, it good at what it is, and I'm liking it for the most part, but yeah, I do wish that it sat a little flusher on my face. But for the most part, I can get it so there's very little light leakage here, or here.
Oh yeah. I have a couple of Vive headsets that have the Halo, and it's, it can work.
Yeah.
But
Well, I just wanted to so something that wasn't going to break like the Elite straps keep doing. And I know a lot of people swear by the Halo head strap, so I got one off of Amazon that was a mid-range price point. So,
right, understood.
and
It's in,
one advantage to it is I can leave my Baja on
mhm,
with it. I can't have it turned on because the contact with the strap itself causes the feedback to be going on.
gotcha.
But if I turn the microphone off, then I am still able to say if I get a phone call, hear the phone call coming in, glance at my phone, and then if I want to, take the call without having to take off my headset, go grab my Baja, put it back on,
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, no, look, I'm sure there are people that like the elastic band also better,
yeah,
so everybody's going to have their own preference at this
yeah,
point.
yeah. So, anyway, the next bit of news is from VR Fitness Insider. VR Party League is collaborating with VR Sports Network to create opportunities. Specifically, they are collaborating to provide unique experiences for athletes in virtual sports who want to participate in challenging team-based games like Echo Arena, and they have an emphasis on community and training and a handicap system that will let teams of different skill levels to play together without being too unfairly weighted toward the better team, because that's a problem that a lot of the VR tournaments have right now is the same handful of teams, the same handful of players always win
Right.
because they're at the top of the pack, they're at the head of the pack, and they play all the time, and they're just really good, and no one else can to catch up to them.
Right.
So,
But
which
that happened.
it gets frustrating
Right.
to new people coming in. So,
Oh, well,
yeah.
it's like the In-Death Unchained tournaments.
Hmm.
Ha 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 ha. Like seriously, and there must be people that play this 22 hours a day in,
Probably.
in order to be able to have the type of scores that they achieve.
Right.
So there is no way I could actually enter one of those tournaments with the belief that I'll come anywhere near the top 500,
Right.
But I still like to compete every now and
Well,
then.
yeah.
But there should sort of be a way of breaking that ranking, I think. Like, because as you're pointing out, it seems to be the same people.
Exactly.
You might want to create a separate room for those people,
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
because
Going back to this, um, the Alliance is creating opportunities for players and teams, and the VR Party League is announcing Echo Arena Season 1 with broadcast coverage provided by VR Sports Network. And let's see, there was more in there that I was gonna. Yes, there was some info in here about the origin of the VR Party League, which is a small Facebook group set out to connect the more casual family gamers with a focus on fun. And then it expanded, and now they're creating the VR Party League, the Facebook group, and getting into this partnership. And so I think is cool and a little bit possibly a needed change from the leagues that are already out there, which are, I mean, I'm in the VR ML league for Onward, which is great. I have no hope of winning any of the seasons on my team for a very long time, because it always comes down to the same 2 or 3.
Right.
Whereas with the VR Party League, it might actually have a chance. I mean, the way I look at it is that this is doing more like how bowling.
I was just going to say, it sounds exactly like bowling. Just handicap it. So the guy bowling a 160 can bowl against the guy bowling a 280 and still have a chance.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Because I joined a team in bowling. I was brand new. So on my very first night, I bowled an average of 80 or maybe 85. So I gave our team a very big handicap. Yes, by the end of the league, I was bowling like 120, 130.
Definitely brought up your score, and a lot of people hated you. My parents were avid bowlers. My father should have been a professional bowler. And my father had carried like a 285 average, and my mother carried like a 210. And they used to freak.
200 a couple times, and I think that had I kept at it, I possibly could have gotten to the pro bowling skill level.
Right. My best was 8 strikes in a row. That was my highest, and that was intense. That was really intense, And when I left the last one with 1 standing, and it was like, oh my God! I know. It was heartbreaking. It really was.
Yep.
It was a great game. The only problem with the handicapping there is that some people would bowl terribly on the first night or two in order to get that handicap. Right. And then all of a sudden they'd go from being an 80 or 90 bowler to being a 250 bowler. And it would be like, hello,
Right. Well, in my case, it was honest, but yeah, I don't know if some people thought I was a ringer or not, but
Right. Well, 120 is not exactly ringer level, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah,
right. Well, I mean, I went out and I bought a book by Earl Anthony, and I went and I did shadow bowling, and so I was working hard at improving myself there.
Yeah, the only way to learn how to bowl is to bowl. I mean, there really is no other way. It's just going to the
shadow bowling is a great way to learn how to consistently hit the targets without worrying about knocking down the pins.
True. I mean, it's really weird because I've been taught both ways. I've been taught to use the arrow, and I've been taught to use the pin. It's really depending on how the lane is greased or waxed, and it depends.
Well, if you're playing at the end of the day when everybody has been playing on the lane, they'll behave differently than at the beginning of the day when they are freshly oiled. Yeah.
And are they oiled or waxed? And are you using a polyurethane ball? And I mean, oh my God,
Right. I mean, there's also factors. And I remember a story. I forget which one of the pro bowlers. He somehow got into the alley at the beginning or right after they oiled it, and he just bowled his strike shot over and over again on the lane that he was going to be on, so that he made a path in the oil for his ball.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, that's cheating.
Yes, it is. But there's not too many people there. Yeah, bowling was a lot of, but I think bowling has lost all of its momentum, to be honest with you. I don't think very many people bowl at all anymore, the funny part is you would think that it's a good exercise, but most of the people there didn't actually seem very physically fit.
Yeah, well, all the exercise is right here.
Right, and the counter with the French fries and the beer is right over there, so
exactly.
It would counteract those moments of actually standing up and bowling.
Yep. True. So, anyways,
Well,
Moving
talk
on
about.
from that completely not VR discussion.
Well, no, actually, we could bring
Well,
it
there
back
are
because,
VR games for bowling, yes. Yeah.
and they all
I don't
suck.
know how well they actually eliminate oil on the lane, though.
So far, all of them, none of them get a really great review. You know,
Yeah.
anybody that's a real bowler said, it was fun a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah. True. I've heard whether the premium bowling is
Yeah,
the best one, but it still probably leaves some to be desired if you've ever been actually bowling in an actual league and whatnot, and you know what you're doing.
exactly, exactly. If you're actually a bowler, then it's just not there.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on to the gaming showcase aftermath.
I know we
So
discussed
they
this
had this
earlier.
big event coming up and had announcements and everything. Watched the gaming showcase, first ever gaming showcase. I saw people on Twitter saying, "Hey, I'm grabbing my snacks and my drinks, and I'm gonna settle in and watch, and I'm gonna do live reaction videos and 12 VR games. Probably about half an hour, all told."
With about 15 minutes on Resident Evil.
Yes,
So the other 11 got shoved into that
yes.
8-minute
So,
gap there.
but we did get a screenshot from the new Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge installment.
Right, which everybody predicts to be the best game coming out, which we got a screenshot of.
Yeah. But hey, we got Resident Evil 4 coming out, which we already knew, but we got a deeper look at it. We have Pistol Whip, Smoke, and Thunder, a new a new story mode, plus the Concierge, which I believe is um, I don't know for sure because I'm not in their Discord and all that anymore, but I think that might be possibly step one toward the user created map stuff. But so this is unlocking more customization for the pistol whip so players. So you can have bottomless burst pistols, dodge through levels as a no ammo pacifist, new weapon combos, modifiers, multi-platform leaderboards, etc. So it's expanding the customization and the play mode options. And I think I remember them in the past referring to if they bring to user created maps and levels, which they have said they want to. I believe in the past they have referred to it as a concierge. So I could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but I think that, they did mention that in the past.
Okay.
So this may be step one toward that. I don't
Right.
know. It's
Well,
pure speculation on my part.
right. At this point, until anything is verified 100%, actually, until release date, everything is
Right,
speculation.
right. And we had after the fall a little bit more extended gameplay trailer looks from that. It looks visually cool. It also looks kind of like yet another zombie game.
It looks exactly like yet another zombie game. I mean, that was my problem, is I was really looking forward to After the Fall. Before I saw that trailer, it was
Right.
on a definite must-buy list. And now after seeing that trailer, it's on my, yeah, you should check this one out maybe sometime in the future. It's I think I enjoyed Until You Fall
Yeah.
more, and it looks like I would enjoy After You Fall.
After the fall.
You know what I mean? After
Yes.
the fall, yes.
Yes.
Until You Fall seemed to be a much more interesting concept.
Yeah.
After the Fall just seems to
Well,
be,
until you fall, you are balanced. After the fall, you're not balanced.
that's true. But still, whatever. Give me the journal back in mist. Go ahead.
We also had some news about Warhammer 40k Battle Sister. They had a Last Bastion update last month, which brought Horde mode, and now they're adding co-op mode to the Last Bastion game mode. And it will have 2 new maps with crossplay and cross-buy support. So, also starting today, it's available on Rift, which means you can play it with First or desktop or link or link. And Lone Echo 2 is coming out, and it will be available on Quest via link.
Which one?
Lone Echo 2.
Oh, okay.
So, yes. I always find it a little bit disingenuous when they say it's coming out on the Rift platform and on the Quest platform via link. So I'm like, that's not the Quest platform, that's the Rift platform. You can access it from Quest with the link.
Well, yesterday you were playing a game that said that you were on Rift.
Yeah.
So I forget which game you were playing, but it said that you were on the Rift. I know for a fact you don't own a Rift.
No.
So it's like, okay. Why is it picking up your link as a Rift?
Probably because I wasn't doing virtual desktop, but I was doing something else. So.
Which was officially turned
Star Wars
on.
Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Part 2. We had a screenshot. Moving on. Star Wars. No. It revealed one of the characters you will get to meet in Part 2, which is Doc Ondar, a visitor from the Den of Antiquities. And it has a screenshot, or actually it says concept art, showing him and his translation droid set in Caesar Slack's cantina.
Well, he's sitting there with a deck, with a handful
A tricorder.
of cards.
It's a tricorder.
Oh. Okay, I looked at cards. It looked like he was playing cards, but okay.
It looks like
yes, I know.
I'm going to scroll back up.
Okay.
Yes, in his hand, it looks like a tricorder. On the table, he does have currency, yes.
Okay. So
maybe he is playing hollow cards. I don't know.
Right. To me, it looked like he was playing cards. He was getting ready to do whatever he's doing. I think they say he's the Galaxy's favorite trader or something like that in the description. Right. Whatever. It's a nice addition. I'm glad that they're building on the Star Wars stories, Cantina line.
I just would have liked a little bit more information on it because
you're gonna have to pay $30.
I like Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge, and I can't wait to dive in and get more content.
Right.
So.
Me too. I would have liked a little more, but again, they're relatively short. So if they told you the content, they might have revealed 80% of the game. So.
Maybe. Meanwhile, we have Star Wars Pinball VR also coming out, which will be on the Quest platform, PSVR, and Steam VR. And it says it will launch next week. So, as we already mentioned earlier. So,
I am looking forward to that really a lot. That's probably been the most anticipated game for me.
Right now. Yeah, and I'm with you on the pinball games in general. I used to play a lot of pinball on my Windows computer when I was bored and just using the arrow keys for the for the flippers.
Right.
In VR it's still fun, but it's not quite as satisfying as actually being at a set physical machine.
Right.
Because you can't lean on the machine or,
Exactly. There's a whole thing with pinball machines. It's a full organic type relationship.
Right. So, but yeah, it should be fun. It looks well done, and I'm sure it's a worthy buy if you are into Star Wars and pinball in VR. So, I Expect You to Die 2. The Spy and the Liar is also coming out. We don't know exactly when, but later this year.
I think they
you are going deep undercover to investigate the next play for world domination. So
Okay.
Yep, and then as we already mentioned, we have Carve Snowboarding. Um,
But that's
it
not
says,
until later this year. That's
yeah,
like
yeah. So,
four,
so this,
three or
well,
four.
yeah, I expect you to die says later this year. Carve Snowboarding is in the summer. And Shuhai Labs is bringing you a modern take on the Nintendo 64 classic. So, and then we have Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, which just came out because it came out like what the day after the showcase.
Right, exactly. You would have thought they would have played it up more during the showcase, but
Yeah,
really it was a showcase for Resident Evil
yeah,
and the commercial for the others. You know, it was really just a play.
yeah, yeah. And we've already spoken a lot about this, so don't need to spend a lot of time on that right now.
Nope.
The Climb 2 freestyle expansion pack.
Yeah.
That's
Sad.
getting mixed reviews in our own Discord.
Uh-huh.
One of our Discord members, who is a diehard Climb and Climb 2 fan and loves everything about both of the games, isn't thrilled with this. So, but it's basically there's a freestyle thing that's not in any sort of real world environment. It's like virtual floating things, and it's got rhythm based climbing, so the handholds appear and disappear on the bead, and and evidently if you fall off, you have to start over rather than just losing a little bit of time and picking up where you were. So.
Right. That seems like quite a variation on the actual climb, which is nothing to do with having to deal with stuff like that.
Right.
That just seems like okay. So I could understand for people that are diehard climb fans, this is an alternate game. Really.
Yeah. So it really kind of is. Yeah. There are no checkpoints, and you get bonus points if you complete levels without using chalk.
Okay, so this is for people that have taken the climb to the point where they've beaten it badly.
Yes.
And love it to the point.
This is for people that want an extra challenge, which is why it's a lot harder than the base game.
Right. I guess.
So.
Yeah, but the fact that it has gotten such a negative reaction from someone who is such a diehard fan,
right,
it's not a good indicator of
right.
providing what people want.
Yeah, and I mean, as Michael said, part of the appeal of the Climb and the Climb 2 is the environment that you are in.
Right.
Being able to pause momentarily and look around you at the environment and then keep going. And then when you get to the top, you've got this majestic vista and,
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just a game to see how fast you can climb. That's
right.
Obviously, it sounds like more
Yes. Yeah. And moving on, we have The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Aftershocks. The title of this game is getting longer and longer.
I noticed.
The Skydance shared a bit of what was coming up next. Aftershocks is an expansion coming on May 20th. The article that I'm pulling this off of because I didn't make notes in my journal while I was watching it. It says it opens with chatter about a large stockpile of supplies from the reserve, and you can kill zombies in visceral ways, and it's coming as an expansion on May 20th. So, if you're into Walking Dead, this is probably an expansion you will enjoy, is my guess.
Exactly. It sounds more like it fits in with the theme of the actual, as opposed to when we were talking about the climb and
right.
So yeah.
So, speaking of, now Airlink. Oh wait, I don't have to do that anymore. Airlink is now out for everyone. Initially, even though you might have version 28 on your computer and on your Quest, AirLink was not enabled. And so some people came up with a way to force it enabled on the PC and then use some ADB commands to force it to connect to the Quest 2 or the Quest 1. I guess Oculus succumbed to the overwhelming demand, and they said, fine, we will make it available to everyone. As of now, if you have version 28 on both devices, it's enabled.
Exactly. So, ta-da!
And evidently, when you are using that, your Quest 2 headset shows up as a Rift to other people.
Which is kind of weird, really. But yes, you now have AirLink. You no longer have to. You are truly wirelessly connected to.
Yes. Yeah, and with the official thing, it's really simple. You just click the slider in the PC app under the settings and beta, and then in your Quest headset, you go to experimental. Turn it on, and it shows you the list of computers that might be available if you've got more than one. And you select one, it pairs with it, and then from then it's just an option under the quick action to connect.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. So much more seamless than virtual desktop.
Right.
However, in my opinion, there are some ways in which a virtual desktop is still currently on top. I've been running into an issue where if I want to be heard in a VR game using AirLink, I have to put my Bluetooth headphones around my neck and switch my mic input to the Bluetooth headphones input rather than the Quest 2 mic. From what I gathered from some comments that I read on Reddit, that might be why there was initially the delay in making it available, and there was a pause in the version 28 rollout because they want to fix that issue with the microphone.
Yeah, that's pretty necessary. They've had several issues with microphones over these days, so
and all with Link and whatnot. Yeah, so
right.
Hopefully that gets sorted out. I've noticed though that, and I think this is a result of the asynchronous time warp stuff that they do. But when I was playing Onward, if I were looking around, because you're looking through binocular vision, and if you want to see over there, you've got to actually look over there. It would not always follow smoothly as I looked around like that. It would lag behind. It wasn't necessarily doing the black bars, but it was not catching up right away.
So you had latency.
Yeah. Virtual Desktop so far is a little bit better at that, but with Virtual Desktop and Onward, it used to happen rarely. Now it's happening almost every session, multiple times a session. There will be a momentary hiccup, like a latency spike or whatever, and my microphone's gone.
Same problems.
Yeah, so I won't be able to talk, and I won't be able to hear other voices. I can still hear the game sound, just not the voice chat.
Well, that's the problem that they've had.
And then if it happens again, I lose all the game audio.
Right, but party chat and voice chat.
It is. Well, no, this is not the party. This is Onward.
No, I'm just saying though.
Just to fix it is an easy fix. I just close Onward and I reopen it, and it's fixed.
Right.
But
why does it happen to begin with?
Right.
And there's always been, and that's what I was trying to say before when I interrupted you, is that there's always been some sort of problem with party chat or linking up with people, and we've had that issue.
Right.
rush. I mean, it's like it goes all the
Well,
way back.
so that was using Oculus to party just for the chat, though. So the Oculus provided, and maybe Onward is as well. I don't know.
Exactly. That's just it. It doesn't seem like the developers even know which way the people are going to communicate. It's
Right,
like there's multiple ways of going, but they don't all converge correctly, and
right,
one throw the others off.
right. One thing that I do prefer AirLink over Link for, or over Virtual Desktop for, is it does the haptics better for Onward. Until recently, there were no haptics if you played the Oculus version of Onward with Virtual Desktop. Then they added it in, but it keeps every now and then deciding that, oh, you just went over a menu item, which is a little, we're going to keep that going for a little bit. So it's,
Got it. They don't have it quite down yet either.
Yeah, whereas in AirLink, it's working much better.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited that that's out. It should only get better from here on out, I would imagine. So
Well, now that they've released it, they have to either fix it or unrelease it, as they've done in the past as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yes. And there is a big local dojo tournament going on today with various streamers, and I think Hasco from VR Fitness is getting involved with it as well. And it's I'm pulling up the article right now. I should have had it pulled up already. Sorry.
Okay.
Bad show prep. But this is okay. It says on Saturday, April 24th, you're invited to participate in or view some well-known personalities in VR gaming as we compete for glory and prizes. Competitors will include Skiva, Pesky Cashew, Alex VR, Aspen Darkfire, Lissa VR, and many other crazy VR gamers.
Wait, you just said Sunday, April 24th, but today is Saturday.
Oh, I said Saturday.
Oh, okay. No.
You misheard me. I said Saturday.
Okay.
Not Josh. So, the winner will forever have bragging rights as the first tournament champion, and they'll also receive prizes from Oxygen Esports: t-shirt, mask, and mug. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, always good to see more tournaments and fun going on. Speaking of tournaments, Grapple Tournament is doing a free weekend this very weekend on Steam. So by the time this comes out tomorrow, you'll have 1 day left. So
half a day.
Go try it out.
Right now. No, wait. You have to hit subscribe and like before you run. Don't run.
Yes. Well, no, you can just open up Steam in the background, continue listening to this while you go and install the free weekend trial.
That's right. Make us lose more viewers. I like your style.
No, they would be here still listening. That still counts as a few.
Right here? Are they right here?
Yes. Right there is where they are.
Ow.
So, anyways, we are running long on time here, as I knew we would be because of the gaming showcase stuff.
We ran longer than the gaming showcase, but go ahead.
Yes. But Upload VR has been releasing a series of articles this week with news and information that they got from a Twitter Spaces conversation between Carmack and Boz.
Right.
And some of that is stuff that you could probably already figure out on your own. So some of it is, oh, that's interesting. So I encourage you to go to Upload VR, check that out. I believe now they have the entire conversation available to listen to. One of the things that was interesting to me that was coming out of it is the possibility, hinted at by Carmack, I believe, of a controller-less version of the Quest 2. So entirely hand tracking from the get-go. So
okay. It'd be interesting to see. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not really sure how they're going to replace all the buttons, the joystick, and everything else with
well,
finger tracking.
I think the idea here is that providing more options to people, so that if all you're going to use it for is things that hand tracking will work fine with, you don't need the controllers. And if you decide you do need them, you can buy them.
Oh, you mean, yeah, okay. Yeah,
You
I
know?
guess they could release an enterprise version which relies more
Yeah.
on a keyboard and a mouse for input.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and our last little bit of news is Sedeka Gear opened up Move pre-sales. That's their hip tracking thing, and they blew past their funding goal as a result of that. So they had their funding goal there, and so blew past it. So everyone who has tried that so far has been giving it glowing reviews, and also might as well throw in there that they also had a teaser of the controllers that they are working on, where it's got the trigger haptics. So it's not just controller body haptics, but the actual trigger, like what are the PS5 controllers or something?
Yeah, like a dual shock type.
Yeah.
Thing. Okay. That's cool. But
yeah, I can see that possibly being even more immersive in VR if you are shooting a gun and feeling that
but force
right
feedback
there as opposed to just here. Well, I don't know.
To me, the force feedback would be better in the trigger than a haptic, because that would be more realistic when you're pulling a trigger. But
Right. But yeah, they are moving along, pun kind of sort of not intended. And it looks like they are on their way to having a real product that matches what they said they would do with it. So
which is great.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, Horizon will be someplace that we'd all want to visit.
Oh yeah. Hopefully with the new avatars, which I made my new avatar.
Did you?
Yesterday?
Oh, I haven't made my new avatar yet. All right.
Yeah.
Being that it's included in 4 different games, including Epic Roller Coasters.
Yeah.
Yes, wave at the person behind you.
And what is it? Top Golf or?
Yeah, Top Golf.
Yeah. I knew it was in one of the golf games. So yeah.
Yeah.
And at some point it'll be in Synth Riders, and so yeah.
Right.
As much as it's cool that they're doing that and revamping Avatar, yet again, I almost say that I wish I could bring my Ready Player Me avatar in.
I was going to say, really what we need is one place that just specializes in the volumetric avatar that's cross-platform and pay your $25, $40, whatever it is, and that is the way you appear throughout all of virtual reality.
Yeah.
And
so that'd be nice, yeah.
Right now, that's really lacking, and all of these other avatars are okay. It's nice, but I think they can stop wasting their time on how many blinks per minute and how many eye rolls and guesswork and all that type of stuff, and just really get down to the nitty-gritty and put a real avatar in it.
Right. Now, one thing that I did find interesting about the avatar announcement is, if I remember right, it said that they've been working on getting more accurate prediction of what your shoulder position and your arm position is based on your hand and your head position, which should make for more natural looking movements.
Right, like we were talking at the beginning. The IK is going to improve. They are going to, which we've seen that they did in one of the other programs we were talking about last week, where if you were too short, it would make up for the difference and things like that. So,
well, yeah, the flip side.
Right, so they're definitely coming back with better IK, which is good.
Right, and we've seen Nimsoni working on that in his sandbox thing. If you haven't heard of Nimsoni, go look him up on Twitter and on itch.io, where you can try out some of his experiments. He's got basically a physics playground sort of thing, and he's doing ragdoll physics, but it in a way that makes it look good, and so that you can go and pull yourself up on a box just like you would in real life, and
Right.
yeah, so yeah, there's been a lot of progress made on that front all over the place. So
Well, yeah, I mean, as we're learning how to use those cameras and figuring out, occlusion and everything else, we're definitely moving forward at a very nice speed. So
yeah. So anyways, on that note, it is now an hour 20 into our show, so it's time to bring it to a conclusion.
yes.
The conclusion is, it was Brad in the library with the shotgun.
The rope.
Oh, okay, I was wrong. All right. So anyways, on that note, bye, have fun. Remember to drag your friends over, make them like and subscribe after you like and subscribe again if you already have.
Please.
Yeah. It helps the algorithm if you do it more than once, I think.
We'll find out.
Or maybe it just confuses the algorithm. I don't know.
Either way,
Anyways,
it'll be fun to find out.
Yep. Have a great rest of your weekend. Leave any comments if you tried anything that we talked about. We would love to have a conversation with you. Bye.
Take care.